Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Vi. I'm e-commerce marketing expert at Omnisend, and today we're going to talk about high ROI emails that most brands are missing. And when it comes to ROI, we tend to think about the monetary input and output only. So like whatever money you put in, the money you get out, that's your ROI, which is not a full picture of how it works, especially not in email marketing. But it's definitely easy to kind of fall into this mindset that like however much money you put in, the money you get out. And that mindset, it happens to everyone. It has happened to me before and it's okay. But what I'm sharing today is more about thinking about how little time and effort you might need to invest to get a really high ROI on your email marketing when you work with Omnisend. So who am I? I am Vi, as I said. I have 7 years of experience in e-commerce, over 9 experience in marketing altogether. And I worked from e-commerce manager positions to go-to-market strategist, and I also led e-commerce business units for different enterprises. I also have a degree in behavioral economics, and it perfectly captures my fascination with merging data, technology, social sciences. So I'll be sprinkling in a little bit of those little nuggets in today's webinar as well. So before we begin, this session is being recorded. You'll receive the recording in a couple of days in your inbox. We will also include the slides. So if you didn't catch quite something or you want to come back to it, we will include the slides in the recording email as well. And if you have any questions at any point, at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A tab, so you can pop your questions in there, and then I'll get back to those once we have a Q&A session at the end. So today's agenda is we're going to talk about campaigns versus workflows, just a brief capture so we're on the same page. We're going to have a look at overlooked opportunities in email marketing. This is where we're really going to lean into that high ROI emails and strategies. I'm going to share about leveraging lifecycle segmentation, because without that, everything else is irrelevant. And then I'm going to share a tactical toolkit at the end. So it's going to be something that you can come back to whenever you feel stuck, or maybe you're planning a new quarter, or you might even want to have a discussion with your team so you can use it to kind of like bounce from and as your starting point in those brainstorming sessions or discussions. Okay, so let's look at campaigns versus workflows. So just so we're on the same page, we usually have campaigns that are one-off events that could be newsletters, or they can be announcements, product launches. They're manually created, meaning you have the idea of the campaign, and once you have the campaign, then you kind of add everything else in there yourself. Then you schedule it or you send it immediately. Again, your preferences. And then these campaigns are not triggered by user behavior, meaning that it's coming from you. You're initiating that campaign very mindfully with your own effort. And then workflows, and just FYI, before we go further into the session, sometimes we use word automations interchangeably, and automations is not really grammatically correct, but if you hear me say automations, know that I mean workflows here as well. So workflows are continuously running, meaning that once you publish it, they're just running in the backend. You don't really need to come back to it unless you want to optimize it. Of course, you check if everything's working, if it's bringing you revenue, if there's anything to optimize, or maybe you want to test it as well. Then it has a predefined logic. So what I mean by that is it has a set of conditions. So delays, maybe it has a split in the flow, maybe you're incorporating SMS or push in there. So there's a logic to it and how you're taking your customer throughout that journey to the outcome that you want them to reach, which is most likely to purchase from you. Then is behavior-based personalization. And don't be threatened by the fancy words that we're using. Behavior usually just means that it could be, most likely, it's going to be segmentation. So are they your first-time buyers? Are they your subscribers? Did they do something that triggered your workflow? So that's all it means. Nothing too fancy here. And then again, it's event triggered. So did they subscribe to your email list? Did they buy? Did they abandon the cart? And that is the difference between campaigns and workflows. And when you have to choose between those two, like of course campaigns are necessary, but really there's a strong power in automations. And at Omnisend, we've done research with over 24 billion, with a B, emails since last year. And we saw that on average, automated emails generate around 37% of email-driven sales. So over a third of your email-driven sales comes from automation, meaning which only makes up 2% on average of your total sends. So to illustrate that, here's an example of our actual customer at some global shop. And as you can see, their automations make up only 5% of their sends, but it has almost half of their yearly revenue coming from those automations. And because of that, today we're going to focus specifically on workflows and automation, because as you can see, that's your highest ROI where you can get. So we have two most common automation flows that everyone is familiar with, whether they work in e-commerce or whether they are consumers. And we have welcome series, and we also have abandoned cart. So these are kind of flows that are almost expected by consumers at this point, that the brand will communicate to them when they join as a subscriber. And our research shows that 8 out of 10 people expect some sort of message from the brand they subscribe to. And also abandoned carts, again, is just such a common practice that consumers expect that, even without fully acknowledging it themselves. So it's so deeply ingrained in our e-commerce industry. And we're going to share in the chat as well a link to a webinar where we go more into details about these workflows. But today we're going to focus on other opportunities that maybe I would assume at least one of those you haven't really explored as a business. So just stay with me, and then we'll link that webinar in the chat as well and add it to the recording email so it doesn't get lost. Okay, so the overlooked opportunities. And here I'll share some of my favorite ones and those that are really seen have an impact on my clients. And then when I joined Omnisend, I'm very glad that we are talking about them always to our customers, because again, there's so much value to be unlocked there. So the hidden gem is product abandonment flow. And I will never shut up about this flow because, again, it's so overlooked, but our research shows that it is generating almost about the same amount of revenue as abandoned cart flows. So if you don't have abandoned product flow, this is the only ask I have for you. After this webinar, make sure you have it, and then immediately you'll start seeing ROI on it as well. So it is triggered by what it says, what it has in the name. When someone browses a product on your store and then leaves without adding any item to the cart. And I can see Christina saying this is her highest ROI email by far. Absolutely. Like this is like if you don't have it after this webinar, set it up and you'll be good. So you have this flow, and it will take you less than 15 minutes, I guarantee, because at Omnisend we have templates for you that are created based on best practices. It has all the settings. All you need to do is go in there, add your message, what your brand is all about, and that's it. You set it, let it run, and then you'll start seeing those results. Another tip here is to take the advantage of personalization as well. So you have the flow already, and at Omnisend, as you can see in the screenshot, there's 3 dots where you have the drop-down menu, which allows you to create personalizations. In this case, you can add event product title to the subject line, which basically means it's the product's name that a person browsed. And then once what they see, for example, in this message, great news, that product is now on sale, here's their discount. And again, the open rate is 55%. So half of those people will open. And as you can see from the sales this generated, it's pretty generous. So I really recommend you exploring this and trying it out. And a little pro tip when it comes to product abandonment flows is try adding push notifications in there as well. And what they do is before the person ends their browsing session, they will see a message there as well. Again, using the same personalization. Did you like the product? Go back, take a look. And as you can see, it has over 73% viewed that message and then clicked on it as well. So really explore the Omnisend workflows and see if you can incorporate it as well. And we will link it, the webinar where we discuss multi-channel strategies in the chat as well. The next high ROI email that I really recommend, and most brands forget about it because they don't, intuitively, they don't see a lot of value in that. But every client that I worked with, we explored ways to incorporate it in the abandoned cart flows, and we've seen really significant results there as well. So it's the free shipping reminder. And I will share 2 examples when your brand offers default free shipping and when there's a threshold to get the free shipping as well. So first of all, as consumers, me included, I think most of us expect free shipping, free returns, but it's still a notion that we have inside it as businesses we should be addressing, or I would recommend to address. So will I get free shipping? Will I not? Because even though we think we have a banner and we talk about it everywhere, people just don't pay that much attention. So here you can see an example where you have a conditional split for that has a trigger filter when cart total is less than 59. So what happens is if it's less than that, the consumers get a message, hey, you're so close to free shipping, why don't you come back and browse again? Or if someone qualifies for the free shipping, they get a message saying, hey, you qualify for free shipping. And a little pro tip and caveat, again, from my experience and seeing results and the difference it makes, it might not work for your brand, just a disclaimer, but give it a go in testing environment. Using a word qualified instead of you get, you have, because when you say to someone you qualify, it creates that sense of, oh, I like achieved something. I could have missed out on that. So it's still playing into that scarcity from a different angle a little bit. So just a little tip for you to test out, just to use the word qualified. And then when it comes to flows where you tell people, hey, you're so close to free shipping, you're also getting an opportunity to increase the average order value as well. So when you're increasing, because if there's no sale, there's no sale. But if they want to get free shipping, they're likely to add something else to the cart. So that's my tip for those who have thresholds for email for free shipping. And then if you offer free shipping by default, there's a test that I run with my customers and with my clients. And for majority of the brands, it's showing really positive results. So the A/B test goes like this. You can mention free shipping in the subject line for all as your control group. And then try mentioning free shipping only for lower value carts as well. Because if it's, or emphasizing free shipping for lower value carts, because then you'll see if it's a driving force for people actually purchasing. And they will, and also just kind of like winding back there, is when people have higher value baskets, you kind of assume that you're going to get free shipping or a better end of the deal. So when you have lower value baskets, then you might think, oh, I don't know if I'm actually getting free shipping. So just kind of reassuring them, yes, there is that free shipping that you're getting. So this, again, adding this email to your abandoned cart flow has been really, really helpful to majority of the brands, especially if you have the free shipping threshold there. Okay, so next we're going to talk about post-purchase flows. So most brands have some sort of post-purchase flow, but it tends to be either very generic, sometimes a little bit lousy. So we're going to spend some time here because I truly think that's where you can get your highest ROI. And again, Omnisend offers templates, preset things, so it won't even take you that long. And you won't have to try to think through, okay, so all the maneuvering in the workflow, like that is done for you. And then if you need anything more advanced, then you can contact our support team or your customer success manager. So post-purchase sequences can convert casual buyers into repeat customers within shorter time frame than relying on broadcast campaigns. This quote comes from the fact that so many times there is that urge I see in businesses, especially smaller businesses or businesses that are starting out. They rely on campaigns. It's quite old school approach. I remember when we were just blasting campaigns in e-commerce and I was like, okay, that's great. But now we have automation, especially with templates, you can quickly set it up. And yeah, so you have that focus on campaigns. And campaigns, technically, they work because they will bring in sales because it's simple maths. Someone's going to buy, but you're not going to get the data. Who are those people? There's going to be a gamble whether you're meeting them at the right time and they're ready to purchase or not. And then you also might be wasting away their goodwill to interact with your brand. Because especially with those who only purchase once or still considering purchasing, they don't really have the trust and loyalty to your brand. So if you just keep bombarding them with the message, buy this, then there's a reluctance and there's that goodwill that is just shrinking. So that's why post-purchase flows automation is so important in comparison to campaigns, which of course are also necessary as well. And also, when we're talking about automation, one of the biggest pushbacks that I've uncovered in conversations is automation is just boring. Like you set it up and that is it, you know? And it's, as you've seen in the screenshot, it's just like a few things that you drag and drop and that's it, at least with Omnisend. And that's actually the point, for it to be boring and simple and straightforward. And then, of course, as your business grows, you might want to get a little bit more complex. But in reality, it's meant to be boring in that sense. And also, another pushback that I get from people is, well, automation is just too techy. Maybe people are, as James from Rage Creative likes to say, code phobic. Maybe it just looks a little bit too techy, but it's not. It's actually that, especially with Omnisend, we have the templates, 95%, even more than 90% basic work is done for you. And again, if you're trying automation and you're getting lost, just contact our support team. They're available 24/7 for you. Okay, so let's move on from my cheering on post-purchase flows. So I'm going to talk about some key characteristics, and I find it important to share because before we even dive into, okay, take these steps, when I talk to my customers and my clients, I want to get them into the minds of what it actually is or what should it do or what I would recommend it to do. So the key characteristics go like this. First of all, it manages customer experience. So we're telling people how to use things. We are giving them a chance to share their experience if maybe they're unhappy with what they received. So it's your chance to really build that trust and loyalty, which is the next characteristic. Those post-purchase flows, differently from campaigns, they're about that positive reinforcement that comes after the purchase, because there's this psychological trait that even if I had the money, I really wanted it, and it was easy breezy to get the thing I wanted. After I buy it, I get a little hit of dopamine, that instant gratification, and then, a buyer's remorse kicks in. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I should have not purchased that. And that happens to many people. And post-purchase flows are your chance to tell your customer, no, you actually done the right choice. You're in the right place. You're getting it. So you're all good. And the last one, of course, is it allows natural upsells and cross-sells, which I'm going to talk shortly about. So imagine this is your chance, like as if you were in a restaurant and a waiter comes over, and instead of telling you, buy this, they're just checking in. They're like, is everything okay? Would you like anything to go with what you already have? I recommend this. So this is a very natural approach to selling, which doesn't feel pushy at all. And I think a lot of brands are hesitant. Again, I've seen that all over from small businesses to medium to even enterprises who's supposed to be very pushy on sales, getting a little bit hesitant with upsells and cross-sells But in reality, our customers are getting bombarded with these messages from all over. And if your message comes at the right time, and again, in the right tone, then that's your high ROI emails that you can focus on, because that's increasing your average order value. So just very briefly again, so that we are on the same page. Upsells and cross-sells. Upsells are usually vertical. Well, not usually, they are vertical. They involve upgrading to a pricier version of a product. There's also downselling as an option. So if you see that, okay, there are customers that repeatedly put something in the cart, the same product, but they're not buying, then you can offer them a less pricey option and see if that works. But still, it's vertical. It's going either up or down in value. And then with cross-selling, it's horizontal. So it targets related items, offering things that complement the purchase. And when we talk about email marketing, sometimes when we say upsells, cross-sells, we mean the same thing, that we want to increase the final order value. So yeah, it's a little bit different when you have people in your checkout or cart while still in your store. You can easily upsell then on cross-sell, but in emails, it usually gets just all bundled up in one flow until you find what really works with your customers. So some data just to get you in the mindset that you need upsells and cross-sells. Again, sales pros, the 90% of them use upsells, almost 90% use cross-sells. And this is the most important stat here as well, that it brings in around an average 20% of company revenue. And that's pretty much the rule for email marketing as well. So imagine if you don't have a robust upsell, cross-sell strategy and workflows in place, then you might be missing out on like a fifth of your revenue there. So really get into that mindset when you're approaching this. So after analyzing lots of emails at Omnisend, here's some stats just to get you over the board that you should consider and implement cross-sell and upsell emails. That 50%, so 1 in 2 people will open those emails. And I'm sharing this just to kind of reiterate the point that to us at Omnisend and to me as well, it just shows that these statistics shows that e-commerce customers, they're like actively seeking additional value after purchase. They're very open to purchasing, because you see almost 50% open those emails, and then around 20%, 1 in 5th, actually convert and buy something else. So that is your sign, again, just to make sure you have those post-purchase emails in place. And I'm going to share this simple formula, and I've been implementing it across, again, small businesses, medium businesses, even enterprise level. And it's so simple, again, automation, boring, but so powerful. And this is the first order post-purchase email flow, because just a reminder to everyone, you should treat your customers differently, especially if it's their first order, their second, and then so on order. So first, of course, there's order fulfilled. And after that, give it another week or 2, again, depending on your business, on what you're selling, to have a mindful check-in. And this is the part that actually has saved so much time and effort for my team, and it's actually saved the brand's reputation as well. And that's why I really wanted to include it in the high ROI email talk, because this little investment will yield you a lot of return on investment later on, a high return on investment later on. So what it does, it allows people to vent to you in your control environment. You won't see that bad review on the external websites. You can deal with that remorse there and then, fix it, and that's sorted. Because if someone leaves a bad review on an external website, you have to find a customer, contact them, then fix the problem, and even then you're not guaranteed that they will take down that review, they will amend it, and sometimes it just messes up the external platform's algorithms, and you can't and it takes time to fix that review rating that you have. So this is another email that is, I would say, is so important, just the check-in email. And again, adjust the time frame according to your business and the product that you sell. And then about 2 weeks later, again, depending on what you're selling, this is for products that could last about a month, especially consumables, skincare, fast-moving consumer goods, 2 weeks, reminder to reorder. And I'll share a little bit later, but everything can be, pretty much everything can be purchased on repeat. It might just be different time frames there. And again, then you have your upsells and cross-sells, sometimes even happening in, according to what you're selling, you can merge the, would you like to order this again? Or maybe you'd like to try other things as well. And this is an email from one of our customers that has been very, very effective for them. So you have that little check-in that they're asked, are you enjoying your recent purchase? And then they're giving a list of other products that the person could add to complement it or to complete a set. And then at the end of the email, they offer them a discount. And the only thing that I would change in this email is I would add a shop now button after the discount paragraph, because as we've seen, people are eager to click and buy. So if you make it easy for them, this is more going to increase that conversion rate. But usually this formula is very, very effective where you're like asking you, do you like it? Here are the products that could complement it. Here's a little discount, a little something from the subscription businesses where you make that offer up. You're like, yeah, it just makes sense to purchase it now. Here's another example of like post-purchase bump. And this example is not about generating 10, hundred thousands of dollars, but it's about, it's automation. So you set it, let it run, make sure you just keep tweaking and optimizing it. But that's your, free money. It's coming in because it's running. So what our customer does is after the order, they wait about 30 minutes and the customer gets an automated email being like, here's an additional discount for your next purchase, but it's, use it now. And as you can see, 70% of people who received it open it. So within 30 minutes, people are still eager to open it, even though it's very obviously about upselling and cross-selling. Then the workflow waits 3 days, reminds them of that order, of that offer, and then they wait another 6 days, remind of the offer again, and then the workflow ends. But as you can see, like the open rate is still really high, even with the third email. And it's this kind of flow, I recommend just test it. See how it works for your business. And if you need help setting this up, again, our support team is there to help you at any point. A little pro tip here as well. See if it works for your brand as well. I've seen this be very successful, and I also seen this to be kind of show meh results. So it depends what you're selling and how big is your customer base as well. But it's about splitting your purchase automation by lifecycle stages. So you have, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about lifecycle stages later on, but when you have those big fans of your brand, people who are spending money and who keep returning, they're your VIP segment, and they have so much trust in your brand that you can see maybe they will convert with higher price bundles as well, because they're not second guessing you. They have shown that they will return for your products, their brand experience, so they might be willing to invest a little bit more. And then you can also have another split that is just everyone else, where you're selling them just the entry-level add-ons because they just started, they just purchased from you the first time, so maybe they don't have that trust just yet. Okay, so now is one of my favorites as well, because transactional emails are so often just left for, just be, especially if you have those preset automations in your e-commerce platform, then people just let those run. And I think it's such a huge missed opportunity because I believe like over 70% of people actually open every single transactional email. Don't quote me on that number, but I see the 70 and it kind of makes sense because we want to know what's happening with our order. So there's a very big overlooked opportunity. And we have a success case with Omnisend as well. So we have Rachel Riley, who, when they joined us, they didn't have that many automations, and we helped them to set them up. But one of the biggest game changers in their revenue was adding product recommender at the bottom of the order confirmation email. And it's just so smart. Now with Omnisend, you can, as you can see in the screen, you can add different recommendations and see what works best for your customers. It can be generic, like best-selling products, recently added products, most viewed products. You can even really personalize and tailor it to your customers by showing products similar to past purchases. Because if you really like something, I don't know about you, but I will probably I have like, I don't know, 10 different black t-shirts. They're pretty much the same, but I just probably gonna keep on buying it. And that's the same psychology here as well. And then you can show products that content recently viewed. Again, it's a little bit of testing because sometimes when people viewed things, there was something they didn't like. And there's a chance, of course, that they liked it, but they chose between the two. So keep on testing, but you do have this option with Omnisend, and you can just drag and drop it into your templates, and that's done. Oh, and a little caveat here as well, as it's written in the slide, is that previously this brand, they used Shopify's automation that was there as a default. And then once you activate your order confirmations in Omnisend, you can add all your tailoring there as well. Okay, so the next one is, as I said, replenishment reminder flow, something that subscription brands use because they have to in order to grow and have longevity as a business. But every single business will have something that can be reordered again and again, maybe less frequently, but still, you can still make that happen. And we will link it in the chat and in the recording as well. We have a webinar where I go into detail how the actual subscription brands think, and then what you can take on and start using today. So again, think about the products that could be reordered again and again. It doesn't have to be as logical as these supplements, that's like, of course, like it has 30 pills, so after a month you need more. But, maybe it's another type of consumable. There was also one of our success cases that just came to my mind, so we don't have it on slides, but it was a cake shop that, after the special occasion purchase, they had a reminder that popped up, I think like 11 months later. So, almost a year has passed. This is an anniversary. So you're already communicating to your customers, hey, why don't you purchase that again if you liked it? So again, you just need to be a little bit more creative here. And a pro tip, you can include your past customers if you're going to create the replenishment flow today. So meaning if you say, okay, I don't have this flow, I would like to try and add it, then you can create it. And if you put a condition that people who purchased in the past 30 days, just actually like after the 30 days after the purchase, they will get this email. Then anyone who falls into that 30 days gap, they will receive this email. So you just need to trigger that retrospectively. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact our support team. They'll be happy to explain this in detail. But again, it's just very self-explanatory. So yeah, I'm sure you have something that you can sell again and again and again, and that would be useful. And then before wrapping up, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the lifecycle segmentation. And yes, it's not an email, but it's fundamental for high ROI, because if you don't know your customers and you're not talking to them at the right time at their cycle stage, then you're probably just spending your money on nothing, and then you might be losing them because they might like your brand, but they're like not in the mindset to receive that message or offer that you're sending them. So at Omnisend, we have this lifecycle map that is powered by AI that analyzes your sales data. So it's actually built on the sales you've already done. And I really like this. You can actually access it on your Omnisend dashboard. You can do it after this webinar where you're going to audience and then see customer breakdown. And just take a look at it to evaluate the health of your business. Because just to quickly go through this, you can see the green color. Those are your champions and loyalists. Again, those are people that are buying from you. They pay a lot of money and they come back often. Then in the gray area, you have those people that they maybe recently bought from you. They have potential. They might need a little bit of nurturing, but they're like in a good zone where you can, with the right automation that's talking to that segment, you can actually turn them into the green segment as well. And then in red, you have about to lose and can't lose customers as well. And again, when it comes to high ROI emails that you can set in automation, the can't lose segment is very important because those people are those who bought from you that used to be your champions and loyalists. They used to spend a lot of money, but something happened and they haven't come back for a while. So you have the proof that they like your brand, that they are your customers. You just need to find a way back. And in a couple of slides, I'll share one of the success cases that really seen significant results there once they implemented that automation. But before we go there, I want to talk about reactivating lapsed customers, because one of the common mistakes I've seen in businesses that I consulted, and whenever kind of trying to get to the bottom, like why are your email marketing is not so successful, it's usually that it comes back to the mindset of using campaigns to win back customers. What happens most of the time is end of the quarter, you look at the revenue projection and you're like, oh no, the cash flow is not looking good, the revenue is not looking good. What can we do? And of course, everyone's thinking, people who bought from us a while back, we're just gonna send everyone an offer. And it might work because again, campaigns, statistically, someone's going to convert, but that requires your time, your effort, and then you have to continuously do it in order for it to bring back that revenue. Whereas with automation, you can just set it up, and again, whenever the person meets the threshold, maybe they haven't purchased in a while, then as we say, maybe between 30 and 120 days, then the person gets that email automatically. They get into the workflow, into that segment, and you don't need to worry about it. It's just running there. So yeah, to reactivating lapsed customers, identify them according to your business, whatever that would mean. They haven't returned after their purchase for 30 days, maybe 6 months, depending again on your business model and what you're selling. And then again, you have the automation to re-engage them. So you set it up and you forget. And make them an offer they can't refuse. I heard people call this the Godfather automation, which makes sense. You really want to reel those people in, so you put it all out there and you hope for the best, but you're very strategic about it, so you don't need to hope for it. And a little tip here as well, use personalized product recommendations. And I will keep repeating myself on this feature because it's just so powerful. We've seen data at Omnisend that customers are 2.5 times, actually 2.6 times more likely to convert when recommendations are based on their purchase history. So again, with campaigns, you can't get too personal there, but with automation, you can get to very specific details that will remind your customer, okay, depending again on their journey where they left off. Maybe, if it was a recent customer, they bought from you 60 days ago and they haven't come back, then you can show products that are similar to the past purchases because they will still remember that experience with your brand, hopefully. But my attention span is not that long, probably. But then if the longer period of time has lapsed, then you can show recently added or best-selling products, because best-selling products are best-selling for a reason, and then recently added products might be enticing to see what's happening. Immediately that comes to my mind are clothing brands, because seasons changed, and you can see, okay, the person bought from us in spring, now it's summer, and we have our new summer collection. So you're just bringing that customer back into your loop. You're showing what you have, what is relevant, and again, because this is an automation, you'll add your collections, you'll have your recently added products as well. So you won't have to think about, I need this campaign, I need these settings, I need this and this and that. Omnisend has already done it for you. You just need to define the logic and then of course test it as well to see what works best with your customers. And this is the success case I promised. We have Island Olive Oil brand, and when it came to us, one of their biggest struggles was competing with big brands and also meeting their customers where they were. And we identified that the at-risk segment had a lot of potential. So we really doubled down on it there. And you can see that after sending an email with a really generous discount, again, just making an offer, they can't refuse to bring them back in, showing the products. This had a 27% conversion rate. So almost 1 in 3 people said, yeah, okay, I'll come back. So this is the power of automation and using the life cycle stages to when you're thinking about, okay, where is the highest return on investment where I could just double down on it. And now we're going to talk about the tactical toolkit. So again, this is not going to be so much use these emails. It's going to be about, maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you want to have a discussion with your team. Maybe you want to try something new. So just kind of like how to get back to identifying those high ROI opportunities in emails. So we have the bundle offer, and everyone knows about bundle offers, and you can bundle up pretty much everything. You just need to be a little bit more creative sometimes because, okay, how do I make this work? But trust me, it's possible. Especially you can just talk to AI. It can help you just kind of brainstorm if you don't have a team. And the bundle offer is what it does. The bundle offers reduce decision complexity. So, I don't know which item to buy. There's so many, but if you make a nice bundle that, skincare comes to mind first, where you're like, well, you want this skin, the ultimate result. So instead of like trying to figure out on your own, here you go. Here's a bundle that helps with that skincare issue. Then you can, the bundle offers this simplify upselling and cross-selling strategy. Again, if you have so many products or you don't know where to start or you feel stuck, just create bundles as your upsells and cross-sells and see what happens, what people are interested in the most, what are they clicking on, and then you can optimize it as well. You can test different prices with the bundles. But when you have bundles, then your strategy becomes so much easier in terms of finding, okay, so what can I upsell, what I can cross-sell. And then bundle offers increase perceived value by the customer. So this is the standard thing out of the playbook in sales. You say all these items are worth $100, but if you buy it in bundle, then it's going to cost you $80. So again, just playing with that perception that the customer might have, and it just see how it works for your brand, how it resonates with your audience, and try different bundles at different pricing, different structures. And trust me, like, after enough tests, like you'll see what your audience is interested in, and then just double down on it. This is a really good example that I liked. And I thought about, okay, well, if someone has just 2 products, can you actually bundle it? And the answer is, of course you can. You just call it a kit. And what this brand does really well here, instead of being, well, if you buy 1 kit, then you get a next kit for free, which is like, okay, then I have 2 items. Here, they say if you buy the kit, then you get 2 items for free on top. So even though it's the same thing that they get, but the value perception is so much higher. And another thing is they're leading with the free aspect here. So building up that value perception before heading into the price consideration as well. The next thing in your toolkit could be cross-channel nudges. And again, using emails as the main communication with your customers, but giving those little nudges is so, so powerful. As I said, we previously linked our webinar that talks about the multi-channel strategy. But don't forget push notifications, especially in abandoned cart flows. Because if people opted in and they agreed to see those push notifications, they don't mind because they know what they signed up for. And then also, as always, include SMS, especially for those VIP customers of yours, because clearly by purchasing from you again and again, they show that they like your brand and they want to hear from you. And if you make them feel extra special, all the better for you. So if you have that automation, just test adding SMS in that, see how it works. And then that could be your small investment that then yields high returns on it. And as I mentioned, segmentation, knowing your business health, knowing how, which customers or like how many of those customers you have that are your loyal fans. because then you can be like, okay, the opportunity is here. We will double down on it. We will go all in. And that's how you measure like where should you invest your time and effort. So again, like use this, use this, use this. And if it's confusing, if you're lost with this, then contact our support team. We will be happy to help you to get to understand what you're actually looking at. But I really, really recommend you looking at this first before going into other strategies. And I'm also including these because these are very commonly asked things. So when should I send things, to get the highest return? And we will link all these times in the chat. We will link it in the recap email, and you'll have these in the slides once you receive the recording as well. But it's just something for you to test or even benchmark against your own first, against your own data first. So the best times to send emails during the day, and the best times overall, mornings, evenings, when to do it. And if I had to summarize all those times, here's a little formula you can try and see if it works for your audience as well. And let me know if it did work. So Friday messages drive the highest conversion rates, over 5%, and evening sends at 8 p.m. capture peak open rates of 59. Okay, so Friday, 8 p.m., see what happens. Does it work for your brand, especially for cross-selling emails? That's the specific research that we have. And then again, product recommender. This is going to be your best friend. Add it to everything you can that makes sense. Because again, talking to your customer, making them feel seen, make it more personal, that is fundamental because we're all getting bombarded with all the emails and ads. And if it's talking directly to you, then, kudos. It may build that loyalty and trust, even sometimes before first purchases. But I really recommend adding this to transaction emails because, again, as we've seen, consumers are looking for that value after they purchase as well. They're still very open to be sold. So use this opportunity. See what works for your brand best. Okay, friends. That's the Q&A session. I think Ira did a good job answering all questions. I'll just go through the Q&A. Okay, seems very good. So thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, so I cannot wait to talk to you more and share all other tips and tricks. And you will receive the recording in a couple of days. We will include the slides, the links, and then just give it a go. And don't forget to add product abandonment flow. Okay? So happy to see you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.